Jammes Harden just went out and called his general manager, Daryl Morey, a liar, and he said that he never, ever wants to speak with him ever again.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of. Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again. Thank you, man. Any more questions? You good?
So the reason we all woke up to Jammes Harden calling out his general manager is because of how Jammes Harden thought this offseason was going to go out. If you don't know the relationship between Jammes Harden and Daryl Morey, this is what it is. Daryl Morey was the general manager of the Houston Rockets, and he was the one that traded for Jammes Harden when Jammes Harden was still in OKC. Now, as Jammes Harden bloomed into the player that we know him today as, the MVP, the All-Star, the person that was in his corner the most when he was criticized for his way of play was Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey went on record saying that Jammes Harden was statistically the best player ever, and there was some merit to that. If you look at the numbers, Jammes Harden was one of the best offensive players ever. But he was always championing Jammes Harden, and he's pretty much a fanboy of Jammes Harden. Fast forward to after the 2019 season in Houston, and Daryl Morey left. He left to become the general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers. Jammes Harden forced his way out of Houston, and he went to Brooklyn. But his relationship with Daryl Morey was so connected, and they were so close with each other, that Daryl Morey eventually went and traded for him. He really wanted Jammes Harden. He really thought highly of Jammes Harden. So fast forward to a season and a half after Jammes Harden's been with the Philadelphia 76ers. And their relationship is looking sour. The relationship, it looks like the bridge between them is burnt, and it's burnt for good. And why is that? Well, it comes down to how this offseason was supposed to go for Jammes Harden. You see, Jammes Harden last summer decided to take a pay cut in order to stay with the Philadelphia 76ers. He was really bought into the idea that him and Joel Embiid were really going to win a championship. And so he took a pay cut so they can get better players. So he sacrificed for his team, and it was a good look for Jammes Harden. And when it didn't work out, when this season didn't work out, Philadelphia 76ers lost to the Boston Celtics, Jammes Harden wanted out. He wanted a new place where he could chase a ring, and where he thought he had the best chances, and the Los Angeles Clippers looked like that was the team. They looked like, all right, I'm going to join them. So what does Jammes Harden do? Earlier this offseason, Jammes Harden opted into his contract with the Philadelphia 76ers for 1 year. He opted into it under the premise that it was going to be a sign and trade. That's what Daryl Morey told him. Well, that's what we're being told, that Daryl Morey and Jammes Harden came to the agreement that he would opt into his contract and he would be traded to the 76ers. Well, fast forward a few months, and the trade talks with the 76ers fell through. Or so it seems. It looks like Daryl Morey really doesn't want to let go of Jammes Harden. Jammes Harden's mad because he left money on the table for the 76ers. It didn't work out. Then he was lied to that we will sign you and then we will trade you. And once his name was on the dotted line, the promise that was made to him completely got switched. And so because of that, Jammes Harden came out and publicly verbally assaulted Daryl Morey and called him a liar and someone that he doesn't trust and someone he never want to work with. And other NBA players chimed in. Kyrie Irving chimed in on this. It was reported that disgruntled Jammes Harden calls out Daryl Morey. Kyrie Irving came to his former teammate's defense and said, is Jammes Harden really disgruntled, or is he just voicing his opinion or his perspective of how he was lied to and manipulated by the guy he had trusted? And so that's the situation we are at right now. The trade talks to send Jammes Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers fell through, and it looks like Daryl Morey was asking for too much. Again, it goes back to he thinks Jammes Harden's a really, really good player, and he doesn't want to give him up for nothing, and Jammes Harden wants to leave. He's done. He was really adamant that he wanted to leave the 76ers. And so that's where we are right now.